तो कैसे हैं आप लोग? आज हम पढ़ने वाले हैं आज ये मेरा पहला क्लास है, मतलब मैं पहला बार वीडियो बना रहा हूँ। एंड वेलकम टू aprendizaje ganado। आप सोच रहे होंगे इसका मतलब क्या होता है। इट मीन्स इन स्पेनिश aprendizaje मीन्स लर्निंग एंड ganado मीन्स winning। We will learn how to win. If you have the capacity, then come here. Today we are going to learn limits, continuity and differentiability. Or let me write it in short. See what I have made. L, C and D. Excuse my handwriting. I'm not gonna explain the concept because I'm also a student like you, and currently I'm in 12th class. So if you know the concept, then only come here because we will practice here the questions. So our first question of the day is limit x tend to 1. It's a easy concept. It's based on an easy concept and we will do it. Log 2 to the base x. Now let's search how to do it. Sorry, that was a mistake. By mistake I have written a wrong question. So our question of the day is limit x tends to 1 f of x, where f of x is equal to x minus 1 for x greater than or equal to 1 and 2x square minus 2 for x less than 1. Most of you would be knowing how to do this question, but let's get started. I'm erasing the question if you have noted it out. Sorry. So now we will be heading out to our answer. So let's first check its limit. For limit x tend to 1 minus f of x. So as written in the question, you would see that for x minus means it would be 2x square minus 2 because it's less than 1. So for x less than 1, it's 2x square minus 2, means we would be writing limit x tends to 1 minus 2x square minus 2. And as we know, the condition for the limit to be correct, limit x tend to 1 plus should be also equal to this f of x. So now we are writing we get limit x tends to 1 plus and it's x minus 1. What do we get out of this? What do we get? First, let's start by putting it. As you would be knowing, 1 minus does not mean 1 and 1 plus does not mean 1. So if we put it, we would get here 0, as we can put the value of x, and of the right side we get 0. As we know, 0 is equal to 0, so limit is correct and we can use it. Now I'm erasing this if you would have written it. It's a marble as we don't have any puzzle. Now we would, and you may have read it, that limit x tends to 1 of f of x, it depends on, is equal to limit x tends to 1 minus f of x, and is equal to limit x tends to 1 plus f of x. So what would be the value of limit x tends to 1 f of x? As we have got this 0 is equal to 0, so we would get it limit x tends to 1 f of x is equal to 0. It's our first victory. Heading toward the next question, we have our next question on the screen as you would be seeing it. Sorry, I have written it half. It has a limit n tending to infinity. And it is fx. Now our question is to find limit x tending to 0 f of x. Quickly write it up. Now we are doing the solution of the previous question. Now we are writing the whole question out here. Limit x tending to 0 of limit n tending to infinity sine of pi x, sorry, tan of pi x square plus x plus 1 to the power n of sin x upon 1 plus, that means here is x square plus x plus 1 to the power n. You must have done it in your classes or at home. Wondering about the answer? Let's check it out. As I have told you in the previous question, we first check out the limits if it is correct or not, as it's very crucial. Now we are correcting it. Limit x tends to 0 minus. 0 minus means less than, very little less than 0. Now we have our question here. Limit n tending to infinity tan of, sorry, I would be writing it like this. See, I would take out x plus 1 upon x plus 1 ka power n, and here we have tan pi x square upon x plus 1 to the power n, and plus sine of x upon x square upon x plus 1 to the power n plus 1. Most of you would be wondering it like this, but I'm telling it, it's a wrong approach, as here we have it less than 1, as it is less than 0 means it's x is negative, and we would get this number less than 1, and less than 1, anything less than 1 if is up to the power of infinity, it will just go towards the 0. So I don't think that anybody of you would want it to become infinity. So let's erase it. It's a major mistake done by many. I have also seen my colleagues doing this. So let's write it out again. Limit of x tending to 0 minus and limit of n tending to infinity. What would you do next? I would have a simple approach. Tan of pi x square plus x plus 1 to the power n of sine x upon x square plus x plus 1 to the power n. What we have here, it's less than 0, as I have mentioned you and told you before. It's less than 0, it's less than 1, x is less than 0, so this number would be 0. I can also show you, but I don't have that much of time. So we would be writing it like this: limit x tending to 0 minus limit of n tending to infinity tan of pi x square upon x square, and we are heading towards our answer now. Many of and everybody, I mean everybody knows this, that limit of x tending to 0 tan of x upon x is 1, and we would be using that concept right here, pi pi. Isn't it beautiful? So we get our answer as 1 into pi is equal to pi, and here we approach to towards our answer. Write it down quick. Now we have our next question. It is similar to as we have done before, and the question is limit x tending n tending to infinity sine of pi x to the power 4 x plus 2 to the power n tan of pi x upon x plus 1 upon 1 plus x plus 2 to the power n minus x to the power 4, and it's equal to fx, and we have to find limit x tending to -1 f of x. A heroic question. Now heading towards our answer. Many of you would have even solved it, as I expected to. Now as I have told you before, that I'm sorry. Limit of x tends to -1 of limit of n tend to infinity sine pi x to the power 4 plus x plus 2 to the power n into tan of pi x upon x plus 1 upon 1 plus x plus 2 to the power n minus x to the power 4. A really big question. we have our one of the step ready for our solution. And now just let's start thinking. Excuse you. What would you think if x tends to -1 minus this thing, this x plus 2 to the power n, which head toward what? See, x is less than -1. You may take the digit as, although it's not as big as I would write it, like as 1 minus 1.5. What do you get? 0 point, means less than 1. And as I've told you in the previous question, this thing will be 0. So if we take it as limit of x tends to -1 of minus, then we would get it limit n tend, oh, remove it, man, it's of no use after that. We would get sine of pi x to the power 4 upon 1 minus x to the power 4. Now we are left with this small equation. A question. What would you do? I would take the process. As we know, sine of pi minus x is equal to sine x, as it is located in the second quadrant and sine is positive in there. So we would get it right here. Limit x tends to -1 minus of sine of pi x to the power 4 wait, sorry, sine of pi minus pi x to the power 4 upon 1 minus x to the power 4. How would you now think it? As we know, sine x upon x, where limit x tends to 0, we get it as 1. So what would we get here? It's not of that form, but if we take it out, if we take pi out, then it would be, look right here, pi into 1 minus x to the power 4, and then it is divided upon sine of pi upon 1 minus x to the power 4. As we know, this would get us to our solution, as it is 1 here. Then what we will do, we would multiply and divide, means we would multiply upside and downside with pi. And what do we get now here? It's 1 and it's pi, means 1 into pi is equal to pi. Isn't it interesting? Last two questions answer pi. Now one thing we have left more here, which I forgot to tell you in the previous question, which is limit x tends to -1 plus. What would this give to us? We cannot use the concept which we have used in the previous process, as this would give us greater than 1. Then what would we do? Now first understanding this, if we have it as greater than 1, and greater than 1 to the power infinity will give us infinity, and many of you would have known and even would have solved out the questions of infinity. We usually take out the x plus 2 to the power, means x to the power infinity terms out. Sorry, I have omitted the lower terms. Now heading toward our approach, x plus 2 to the power n, we get it, we take it out. What would we get here? Sine of pi x to the power 4 upon x plus 2 to the power n plus tan of pi x upon x plus 1, and what we get down? 1 upon x plus 2 to the power n plus 1 minus x to the power 4 upon x plus 2 to the power n. Do you see your solution coming out? Yeah, why not? This term will go towards 0, this term will go towards 0, and this term will go towards 0. Then what would we be left with? We will have it as limit x tends to minus 1 to the power 1 plus of, and this tan of pi x upon x plus 1. Now what would we do? As we know, tan of pi plus x is equal to tan of x. We are going to use the similar concept right here. What we would do it as tan of pi plus pi x upon x plus 1 multiplying dividing by pi. We get it as limit x tends to minus 1 plus is equal to pi. We have also received the same answer from our previous process, which was limit x tends to minus 1. So our conclusion, what we come with is that limit x tends to 1 f of x is equal to pi. We did it. And why won't we do it? It was an easy question. Now we have our next question, and it's based on the principle of L'Hopital's rule. Means we would be going through and solving it through L'Hopital's rule. What do we get here? And what is the basic requirement to use the L'Hopital's rule? It would be of 0 by 0 or of infinity upon infinity. Do we get it here? Yeah, we get it here. Tan x, tan pi up pi by 4, tan of pi by 4 is 1. 1 minus 1 is equal to 0. And the sine of pi by 4 is equal to 1 by root 2. 1 by root 2 into 2, root 2 is equal to 1, and we get here 0. So we are in the condition to use the L'Hopital's rule right here. What do we get then? X tend to pi by 4 of, and using L'Hopital's rule, we are going to differentiate the numerator and denominator separately.